Single parenting can feel like a solo journey, but it doesn't have to be. Introducing MomFlex app, the ultimate village web app designed just for you. From financial support to community connections, MomFlex app offers a lifeline, helping you navigate parenting with confidence. Find trusted resources, build your support network, and thrive, because every parent deserves a village. Join the movement today. Visit momflex.org to install the app and take the first step toward a stronger, more supported you.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. Stories of triumph, stories of grace. Single parents with dreams to chase. They said we'd break, they said we'd fall, but look at us now, we're standing tall. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. We push through the stigma, defy every step. They don't define us, and that's a fact. A village of love, a future so bright. Hand in hand, we own our life. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. The journey is tough, but we're not alone. In this village we found our home. So lift your head, let your spirit fly. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive.
Welcome back to Beyond the Struggle, Rise and Thrive. Today's episode is one that touches on something so many parents, especially single parents, carry silently. The truth that our children often only see the parent, but rarely the person behind that role. Think about it. Day in, day out, we show up in the role of provider, protector, nurturer, and disciplinarian. We are the ones making sure the lights stay on, the meals are cooked, the appointments are kept, the homework gets done. To our children, that's who we are, the person holding everything together. But what they don't always see, what they often don't even imagine, is the life that shaped us before we even became mom or dad. So to my friends, grab a cup of coffee, tea, or whatever you usually sip when you need to calm your nerves. Settle in and let's dive into this episode, because this one is about pulling back the layers. It's about looking beyond the daily routines, beyond the rules and responsibilities, and seeing the human being behind the parent. The little girl or boy we once were, the battles we have survived, the scars we carry quietly, and the strength we bring into parenthood. Not just because of what we have done as adults, but because of everything we had to overcome long before. When you are a parent, your role becomes the lens through which your children view you. They see the mom who packs lunches before the sun comes up. They see the dad who works overtime and comes home exhausted. They see the parent who enforces rules, pays the bills, drives them to practice, or maybe yells when the chores aren't done. They see the responsibility. They see the moods. They see the discipline. They see the structure. But rarely do they see the full human being, the person with a story that existed long before they were born, the person who carries scars, the person who had to fight battles they may never know, the person who, despite it all, still shows up. And for me, this isn't just an idea, it's my truth. I raised myself. Yeah, go figure, right? I grew up in a household where domestic violence wasn't a once in a while tragedy. It was a rhythm of daily life. Every single day, I watched women in my home endured pain at the hands of violence. And as a child, I wasn't spared from it either. I was beaten. I was silenced. And still, I forced myself to keep my head up. I forced myself to smile, even when inside I was breaking. But there is one moment that vividly lives rent-free in my mind forever. One moment that changed everything. I was beaten so severely that I had to run for my life. And in that desperate escape, I ended up in a coma for 7 days. 7 days of silence, my life hanging in the balance. And when I woke up vividly reliving the moment my life had flashed before my eyes. I realized how fragile life really was. And that survival wasn't just something I did, it was something I had become. I became resilient not because I wanted to, but because I had no other choice. I also became a child who could read people instantly. I could sense danger before it even spoke. I knew when the energy in a room shifted, when voices carried a different way, when it was time to live quietly or stay still. That wasn't intuition. It was survival. It became part of me. And yet, even after surviving childhood, life wasn't done testing me. I found myself in a marriage where emotional abuse and at times physical abuse found its way again towards me. I had promised myself I would never allow that to happen, and yet there I was staying quiet, just as I had learned to do as a child, enduring not for myself this time, but for the sake of my children, to give them some kind of stability, even if it meant silencing my own pain. But eventually, I had to face a choice. I could continue enduring or I could choose me. And this time, I chose me. I chose a divorce. Not because it was easy, but because reclaiming my life was necessary. Now, my children see me as a resilient mother. Sometimes they see me as a hero. Sometimes they see me as a mom who yells when she's overwhelmed or who gets upset when life feels heavy. But what they don't know and what they don't see is the part I chose not to show. It's the little girl inside me who endured violence and fear. The little girl who survived a coma. The little girl who never gave up. They don't see the woman who learned resilience the hard way. And because they don't see the full story, they form opinions about me based on what's visible, the parent role, without the context of the journey I have walked. They don't understand that the reason mom doesn't ride a bike isn't because she doesn't want to or because she never had a chance. It's because of a moment edge in childhood that never left her. When I was only 5 years old, I had a bicycle. I was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a symbol of joy, freedom, and innocence. But one day, a cousin took that bike away from me. They threw me to the ground, laughed, and said the reason I kept falling was because I was weak. I was weak, that I will never be able to ride a bicycle. And you know what? These words sank deep. At 5 years old, what do you expect? I didn't have the wisdom to separate truth from cruelty. I believed it. I carried that belief like a shadow, and it turned into fear. Fear of trying again. Fear of proving them right. Fear of failing. So I never wrote again. Now as an adult, I can look back and see the manipulation. I can see the brainwashing. I can see that it wasn't the truth. It was someone else's power trip, someone else's cruelty pressed onto a child's heart. But the damage had been done. Now I don't even want to learn. I don't need to. I have built other interests. I have found other hobbies that bring me peace, joy, and strength. My life has expanded in ways far beyond that bicycle. But my children don't know that story. To them, mom not riding a bike might look like not wanting to or even the inability to. What they don't see is the little 5-year-old girl lying on the ground, shamed into believing she was weak. That's the kind of debt we carry as parents. These hidden stories live inside us. They shape how we show up in ways our children may never understand unless we share them. And that's the truth for many of us. Our children may never truly know the roads we walked before them. They may never fully grasp the battles we fought before they entered this world. They see the surface, not the depth. They see the parent, not the person. Think about this for a moment. A father who works 2 jobs may be seen as always tired or never around. His children don't realize he's sacrificing his own energy to make sure they never know the hunger or homelessness he has once faced. A mother who yells about chores may be carrying the fear of her home spiraling into chaos because as a child, her home was unsafe, unpredictable, maybe even violent. Or imagine a parent who struggles with patience. And that may not simply be short-tempered. They may be silently battling trauma, depression, or anxiety while trying to keep their family afloat. When we only see the parent, we miss the human. And every human has a story. Stories that explain their behaviors, their sacrifices, their struggles, and most importantly, their strength. As parents, it's natural to hide parts of our story. We want to protect our children. We don't want to burden them with our pain. But sometimes, sharing a glimpse of that truth helps them understand us more deeply. Maybe not all the details, but enough for them to see. Mom is not just the one who yells when the dishes aren't done. Dad is not just the one who's always tired. They are people. People who fought, endured, and choose to rise above all. And if you are listening, not as a parent, but as a son or daughter, this is for you too. I challenge you to look at your parents with curiosity, not judgment. Ask them, what shaped you? What struggles did you face before I came into your life? Because behind every parent is a person. And when we see both, the parent and the person, that's when compassion and connection can grow. So today, I want you to hold on to this truth. You are not just the parent your children see. You are the whole story. The child you once were, the pain you endured, the battles you fought, the resilience you carry. Every scar, every tear, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, it all lives inside of you as proof of your strength. And even if your children never know every detail, that story is alive in the way you love them. It's alive in the way you protect them. It's alive in the way you rise each morning, even when life feels heavy, and choose to keep going anyway. You may not always get the recognition you deserve. Your children may not always understand your choices or the reasons behind your moods or the way you carry. But your story matters. And it matters not just because of where you have been, but because of who it has made you today. So the next time you feel unseen, the next time you feel misunderstood, remind yourself, I am someone's child too. I am and have been a child. More than what they see, I am not just a parent. I'm a whole person. I am a story of survival, of growth, of resilience. I will leave you with this quote. Children see the parent, but the parent is also a person with scars that became lessons and struggles that became strength. Until next time, keep rising, keep thriving, and always remember, your story matters. It mattered yesterday. It mattered whenever. It matters today, and it will matter tomorrow. Until next time. Ciao now.
Every day's a battle, every step a climb, but we're standing tall, we're building our lives. Through the sleepless nights and the endless fight, we rise, we shine, we hold on tight. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. Stories of triumph, stories of grace. Single parents with dreams to chase. They said we'd break, they said we'd fall, but look at us now, we're standing tall. We are more than the labels, more than the pain, breaking the cycle, rewriting the game. Stronger together, we lift, we strive. Single parents, we rise and thrive. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see you, you matter, you're strong inside. Together we shine, we rise, we thrive. We push through the stigma, defy every stat. They don't define us, and that's a fact. A village of love, a future so bright. Hand in hand, we own our life. Beyond the struggle, we rise and thrive. Turning our pain into power, we're alive. We see